Yeah, good evening, everyone. Goedenavond allemaal. And very happy to have you all here. People are still coming in. It is 8 o'clock, and I'm very happy to be here with this panel. Marijn is on his way and about to enter, and Dr. Sam is with us all the way from, I don't know where he is in the world at this point, but he will tell us in a few minutes. So let's wait a few wait until Marijn is here. And in the meantime, I would like to present you the panel of today, starting with Ira Nagel. Ira, you're living in Visoko.
Yes.
Yeah, and you organize retreats to the Bosnian pyramids. And Charlotte, welcome also.
Hello.
Water researcher, and you spent a month in the Ravne tunnels digging, and you play a big role in the documentary Janos and I created, Pyramid of the Sun. So welcome to you as well.
Thank you.
And when you speak about ancient civilizations in the Netherlands, you speak about Peter Tonen, our Maya expert, pyramid expert. Very welcome here tonight. And the same goes to you, Marijn Poels, Pyramidal Codes 1 and 2. Very happy to have you here on board. And Janos, also 20 years in the field of ancient civilizations, and we created the documentary Pyramid of the Sun about the Bosnian pyramids, which we will show you some segments of tonight.
Small pieces.
Yes, small pieces. And well, last but not least, Dr. Sam, you may reveal yourself. We cannot see you yet, but it will change in a bit. So we are here.
You need to enable me, right now it's saying the whole.
He's muted. Ah, there you are.
Hello guys, so many friendly and nice faces. Very good to be here with you tonight.
Yeah, we're very happy to have you here. You discovered the Bosnian pyramids, and we hope you will share a bit with us and with everybody watching in a few minutes. We're here with a lot of people, and the people who are in the Zoom are you can ask questions, and the people on Facebook and other social platforms, you can also ask questions, but we will answer the people who have sent us the questions and the people who are here tonight in the webinar, their questions first. And well, the goal tonight is to share and to create more awareness in Holland, Belgium, and other countries about the pyramids in Bosnia. And how do you find pyramids in Bosnia, Dr. Sam?
Thanks for the introduction. I've been researching pyramid and megalithic sites for the last 40 years. My PhD is about the Mayan pyramids in Central America, and I have investigated pyramids on all 6 continents, concluding that the world of the past was the world of pyramids. Back in April of 2005, I first came to a little Bosnian town of Visoko, half an hour drive from the capital city of Sarajevo. I came to see the local museum, but what really caught my attention was this, everybody called it natural hill, because it was covered by soil and vegetation and the forests. But I was looking at the shape and geometry, 4 sides, 4 triangular faces, 4 corners. I took compass, it showed me the perfect side orientation to the cardinal points. I immediately knew that it was an artificial structure. So the first year, 2005, I got the permission for the preliminary research from the Ministry of Culture. Everything I did, they were telling me anomalies. Then I wrote the book. I announced the news to the world that the pyramids have been discovered in Bosnia. I established non-profit foundation, and for the last 20 years, it has become the most active archaeological site in the world. And during that time, we have produced conclusion that we have 6 pyramids in the heart of Bosnia, pyramids of the sun, moon, dragon, love, the temple of Mother Earth, and the 6th pyramid, 2 tumuli. The tumulus is the conical artificial hill in archaeology, and huge network of underground tunnels. So far, we have discovered 7 entrances to those tunnels. Huge construction complex, but that was not all. In the last 20 years, we started answering the questions, what was the true purpose of pyramids? And we came to the revolutionary conclusions. They were not built for one dead body, king or pharaoh, but for the living communities, because pyramids were energy amplifiers, and this energy can be used for communication, health protection, water and food, molecular structure improvement, immunity improvement, and development of spiritual senses. That's shortly.
Thank you very much. And so just a short translation in Dutch. Dr. Sam heeft in 2005 de piramides gevonden. 6 piramides daar in de vallei bij het dorpje Visoko. En hij ontdekte dat met name de piramide van de zon ook precies uitgelijnd stond op het noorden, het oosten, het westen en het zuiden. En ontdekte daar ook nog kilometers aan tunnels. Inmiddels hebben ze 7 tunnelingangen gevonden, de Ravne-tunnels. En zij is er vooral achter gekomen. Hij zegt, in de afgelopen 20 jaar is dit de meest dynamische archeologische vindplaats ter wereld geworden. En ze zijn er vooral achter gekomen dat piramides helemaal niet gebruikt worden voor het begraven van mummies of van overledenen. Maar dat het eigenlijk energiecentrales zijn. Met verschillende toepassingen. Waaronder het verbeteren van moleculen in water, in voedsel. Waaronder helende kwaliteiten. En hij zei nog een aantal dingen, maar dat ging mij ook een beetje te snel. Maar ik ben wel benieuwd. So that was a short translation for all the Dutch people. Marijn, you went to Bosnia as well, and you made a film, Pyramidal Code, where the Bosnian pyramids play a very big role. What is your connection to the pyramids?
Your microphone.
Your microphone, yeah. You're muted.
Unmuted. Is that all right yet?
Yeah.
You're here.
Okay, I'm on. Well, yeah, thank you so much. I was there 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago. And I must say, what amazed me was I can't say that I felt differently. Of course, I felt differently, but I don't know if there was tension, if there was anxiety. I don't know if there was the energy of the pyramid. What I found very interesting is I went into the tunnels on 300 meters in the tunnels, and I measured 21% oxygen, and that's unusual with a tunnel with no air ducts whatsoever. So there are things happening which are unnaturally, we might can say maybe it is natural. And so there are certain energies, I'm very sure. But what I loved the way Sam is working and claiming these facts is that he's not working with 100% archaeologists, right? Because they are attached to a certain narrative and they cannot unattach themselves from the narrative. So he's working with, okay, when there are energies, I want persons who can measure electromagnetic waves. And those people who are measuring, they don't care whether they are measuring in a homestay or in a hotel or on the top of a mountain. They just want to measure electromagnetic waves, and they don't care about a narrative. And all of these experts combined is, of course, a very archaeologist thing to acknowledge. And I think that's an excellent way Sam found in proving that there are energies and breaking through the narratives, which are very tight and you can say hijacked from the science. And so yes, I very much believe that this is real. Dr. Sam didn't build them; he just found it. So, and it's impossible. I mean, you have the tunnels. You know, they are filled with mud and dirt and a way we cannot do it in this era. So, you know, there are strange things happening in the past and still happening in terms of, you know, certain energies coming freeing themselves from the pyramid, especially pyramid of the sun. And there was a measure. It's perfectly scientifically measured, and it's just a big applause to Sam on his way, how he find a way to break through the narratives of silence. And I think that's for me the best thing you can do in you know, in this era of you know, where science is being hijacked, and you need to find way to prove yourself. And I think he did. You know, and you know, let's set the record straight. I was introduced as an expert, but I'm not an expert at all. I'm just, you know, a guy visiting the pyramid. So, but I'm talking to experts like Sam, like other people who are measured, and you know, it's. I'm not taking it for granted what Sam is saying, but I need to back it up by different experts. And my thing, why I put it in a film and why I believe Sam, is that every word Sam said, I find 50 other experts claiming the exact same Sam has said or found. And that is for me a reason enough to put it in a film. So it's not only Dr. Sam saying that these are pyramids. I really proved it by 50 other experts in the fields. You know, so whether I'm an expert or not, you know,
Well, you don't get away with that anymore.
No,
ever since I know you, you've been claiming not to be an expert. I remember standing on stage with you and Peter, the ancient of Tim's Univibes event, and you claim the same. You're not an expert. To me, you are.
No, you know, but
That's meant as a compliment.
You don't need to be an expert to see a bird flying, right?
Absolutely. No, and I understand where you go. I just wanted to give you a compliment. And
oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Charlotte, you've been digging in those tunnels for about a month, and you've done a lot of measuring as well to the water quality. And can you share a bit about it?
Yeah, I'm happy to. The first experience in the tunnels was hard work and not getting tired. For quite a while, we ran in and out with wheelbarrows of filling material, and we never got tired. At that time, it was still possible to drink the water straight from the floor. It's not possible anymore, but it was. And we have, after a while, noticed in the company of the volunteers, that were about 30 of us from all countries, from all kind of backgrounds, from all kind of ages and professional backgrounds, all volunteering in this work, that some of us said, it looks like I'm getting helderziend, clear-sighted, or clear sentient, or clear knowing. I'm getting more clarity about a lot of things. And a year later we returned, and Josh Kostar and I said we have to test these waters because there is something special with them. And so I took samples and mailed them through very ordinary mail, just wrapped in double crinkled alu foil, mailed them to the Netherlands to a testing institute, and they came back as highly vital, so extremely vital that the guys who were testing them said, what did you do with those waters? Because somebody has charged them in more vitality. At that time, I was pretty sure I knew where we had taken the waters, and we just dipped our bottles in, wrapped them in alufoil, and sent them. So there was nothing much happening to them, and the tester could see that they had traveled and that it was and he could also go back in the history of the water and tell us about how it was at source. And he said, I've never seen so vital waters. I've seen them from Lourdes. I have seen them from sacred sources, from the Chalice Well, and they are all highly vital. They are more vital because those are places where people honor the water.
Yes.
Here, the water wasn't specifically honored by people. It was just there. It was as we found it. In the ditches of the tunnels and also in sources in the valley.
Wow.
So if you like, I could go screen sharing if people want to know more about it. We tested the dry residues. We tested the dry residues for polycontrast interference photography. So that is where you can see the emanations of the water, how they are energetically signaling their vitality. Even from a dried drop, there's a different signature from different sources. And all of them are highly vital. The whole valley is actually exuding vitality in their natural waters.
Wow. Well, let's have a look. Maybe, Janos, we can have a look in the tunnels. Because when you go down into the Ravne tunnels, these are images of Ravne, the first Ravne. Now you have 7, right? 7 entries, so Ravne 1 to 7. And what you see in these pictures is tunnels that are filled up. So they are filled up with filling material. And after that, you see Charlotte walking. This is a part of the Pyramid of the Sun, the documentary we made. And you see Charlotte walking through open tunnels. So they were open already. And we'll talk about it after this fragment. So in Dutch, we gaan even kijken naar de tunnels van Ravne. Ik vind het altijd heel bijzonder. Ravne 1. En deze tunnels die zijn dus gevuld met een vulmateriaal. En zit een soort grindzandachtig materiaal in. Niemand weet hoe dat daar gekomen is. Maar we weten wel dat het 5000 jaar geleden volgespoten of volgestort is. En achter die gevulde tunnels, daar zijn ook open tunnels aangetroffen. En daar zie je zo meteen Charlotte doorheen lopen in dit fragment uit de Piramide van de Zon. Janos. Hier zie je die pulmateriaal in een tunnel. Er zijn drywalls.
Dus de tunnels die al open waren, zijn gewoon zo aangetroffen.
Ja. Dan worden ze dus ook niet gestut.
Nee, want het zit al zeker minstens 5000 jaar zo.
Dat
hoeft toch niet?
Ja, langer denk ik.
Kijk, deze tunnel is dus zo aangetroffen.
Ja, sommige zijn echt wat lager.
Ja.
Deze is laag en breed.
Ja. En dan zie je hier, dit is dan gebouwd.
Ja, er ligt
en er zit dan een volgestopte gang achter, de zijtunnel. Dus dus heel bewust is dit volgestopt.
Dat stapeltje daar,
ja, dat is gelegd.
Kijk, als hier ooit door een overstroming een heleboel rivierslurrie naar binnen zou zijn geperst, wat je je al helemaal niet kan voorstellen, dan zou het er heel anders bij liggen.
Ja, dit is door mensen boven op elkaar gelegd.
Ja, mensen
of andere wezens.
Yes, Dr. Sam, can you tell us, share a bit of your theory around the tunnels? Why were they filled up? What's the idea behind it?
Yes, gladly. Once I discovered 2 pyramids, pyramids of the sun and the moon, which are very obvious for me. I wrote in my first book that we were going to discover the tunnels, and I based that on my experience with the Egyptian pyramids. Under the Giza plateau, there are 4 levels of tunnels. Mayan pyramids, for example, Palenque or Teotihuacan, or Chinese pyramids. And sure enough, once I was checking a lot of caves, underground spaces, I discovered the first tunnels, but at that time, only 15 meters is what you could get inside. It was back in 2005, 2006. we started clearing one of the tunnels, removing the pebbles and rocks and sand, and the tunnels was going on, and there are tunnels to the left and to the right. So very soon we realized that we have a huge underground tunnel network. So far we cleared 3.5 kilometers of those tunnels. You know, when you nowadays discover 50 meters of the tunnels in Mexico, this is the worldwide sensation. We have discovered 3.5 kilometers. And I would assume that this is just the beginning. I guess that the original network was probably about 100 kilometers on several different levels. In the beginning, we thought that behind all these tunnels that are filled with the filler material, there was something valuable in a sense of the, some gold or some other precious stuff, or maybe some sarcophagus, stuff like that. But with the time, we realized that there is even something more important, and that would be technology. We started measuring energy phenomena, and in the tunnels, we have the combination of 10 energy phenomena. The first 5 is the absence of all harmful radiations that we are facing today. All of us, right now, we are exposed to the cosmic radiations, some of them being harmful, attacking our body. Natural radioactivity, we measure in the tunnels using Geiger-Miller counters, no radioactivity, no geopathogen radiations, no signal for the cell phones, no signal for the Wi-Fi, and 5 excellent energies: 28 kilohertz frequency electromagnetism, 28 kilohertz frequency ultrasound, the levitation frequency, a very low frequency, 7.83 hertz, original Schumann resonance, brings us back to the balance. Number 9, very high level of orgone or life energy. Number 10, the highest concentration of negative ions, which are very beneficial to us. You put those 10 elements together, you are getting the safest place on the planet and the healthiest. So what's happening in the tunnel is the regeneration process, the healing process. Why would somebody close all those tunnels? We are thinking about it, and then we realize the more tunnels we clear, the energy strength is getting higher and higher. For example, the concentration of negative ions back in 2010, up to 10,000 negative ions per cubic centimeters. Last winter, 14 years later, more than 100,000, and in February, 340,000. Why is that important? They are extremely beneficial. More tunnels we open, energies are getting stronger, and logical conclusion was this energy was flowing toward the Bosnian pyramid of the sun. And the pyramid is not a tomb, it is energy amplifier. More energy comes, the pyramid is becoming stronger energy machines. You close the tunnels, you shut them down, the pyramid becomes weak energy machine. So it has always been about the energy.
Great. And so also the tunnels and the 10 things you just mentioned, they are proof for the energy. The pyramid is an energy central. Yeah. And there's a question, Herwig, he's an archaeologist, and we have a lot of conversations together, and he asked, how do you know these tunnels were filled up 5,000 years ago?
Well, we have done all 3 major types of dating. The first one is radiocarbon dating. In the last 20 years, we have done 28 radiocarbon dating. Let me remind you, the Great Pyramid of Egypt, only 4. Göbekli Tepe, only 4. Bosnian pyramids, 28. Secondly, we've done 12 luminescence analyses. Thirdly, we've done 7 uranium, thorium analyses. How do we know? Well, in the filler material, we were finding organic material, pieces of the bark, pieces of the leaves, it's usually the brownish material. So we got it dated back in 2012 at the University of Uppsala, Sweden. we got the date of 4,620 years. And this is so-called radiocarbon date. In order to get calibrated date, you're adding about 14%. So the true age is about 5,000 years when those tunnels were filled up.
Thank you very much. And Peter, do we know this from other places, tunnels and pyramids, the combination? Dr. Sam spoke a bit about it, of course. How's your experience with the combination?
There's something interesting in Gunung Padang. It's in eastern Java in Indonesia. Yes. They discovered a pyramid which must have been built 30,000 years ago. And there's a lot of tunnels inside of it. But, well, there's no money. I mean, there's a new government in Indonesia with a new Minister of Culture, who has got this education at the World Economic Forum, and he has forbidden that that people are doing more discoveries over there. So we have a very old pyramid, probably of the same age as the Bosnian pyramids, with tunnels. But Dr. Sam, you're lucky that you can go inside your pyramids, because in Gunung Padang, it's forbidden now. That's one example. And it's interesting that it is forbidden now.
Yeah.
So,
and the Egyptian pyramids have...
they have more tunnels inside. But same story. We know that these tunnels exist, but no one is going to discover that. No one is allowed to go inside, and nobody knows why. It's like we are not allowed to know our real history.
Yeah. It's like that. Yeah, it seems.
But
it might be
interesting. This rubble was put there, Sam, 5,000 years ago. 5,000 years ago. That's about the same period as Stonehenge, as the beginning of what we now call civilization in Egypt and in Sumeria. So, is there a relationship? I mean, what happened 5,000 years ago that they put this? What was the zeitgeist in these times that they had to put this rubble there? I'm just wondering.
Well, you are right about the Gunung Padang. Our friend Dr. Danny Hillman, back in 2006, he discovered the pyramid in the middle of the jungle. I went there 2 times. It is in West Java. It's 100 meters in height. He did some excavation back in 2006, and after election that year, he was forbidden to go on because the cultural establishment, archaeologists, geologists were against him. Fortunately, he did continue from 2011 to 2014, and he did some major discoveries, and you are right about there is a passageway inside the pyramid, and there is a chamber which is triangular in shape. This is where he found organic material, and it is 27,000 years through the radiocarbon dating. And again, if you add about 13 to 14%, it is about 30,000 years, which is about the same age like Bosnian pyramid. It seems that there is a tunnel also under the pyramid. As far as the Giza plateau, there are 4 levels of tunnels. The reason why they are not open for the public is simple. Those tunnels were flooded. You can see the sea salt. The last time this area was flooded by the Mediterranean Sea was 12,000 years back with the end of the last ice age, meaning the tunnels were there, and when El Mamnoon 1,200 years ago violently entered the Great Pyramid of Egypt, he found seashells and the sea salt also at the base of the pyramid, meaning this pyramid was there also. So the Egyptian pyramids are not 4,500 years old. They do not belong to the 4th dynasty. They are much, much older. The same scenario like the true age of Mexican, Peruvian, Bosnian, Indonesians, Chinese, Cambodian pyramids, and so on.
Thank you very much. And what happened 5,000 years ago? Is there any idea who filled the tunnels and why?
Well, what I can see, another important location is called Göbekli Tepe. It is in southeast Turkey. Again, Dr. Klaus Schmidt, late Dr. Klaus Schmidt, was talking to him, and basically he told me then, 10, 12,000 years back, he told me that this location was covered, was filled in a hurry. Why would somebody do that? It's hard to say why. And what did they use? They used the same material like in Bosnia, pebbles, rocks, and sand, and in addition, ground animal bones and ground human bones. Now, this is very interesting. And maybe it tells us something about the original builders and what they really thought about the Neolithic or Paleolithic humans. So why would they do that? Why would they want to hide that from who? Hard to say. But I was measuring energy phenomena at Göbekli Tepe as the first researcher, and I concluded it was not a ceremonial site or a religious site like all the archaeologists are claiming. It was also energy amplifier with a great number of megalithic circles. They focus the energy. So, like I said, it has always been about the energy. And when you use a strong material like granite, like volcanic stones, like, limestone, the material that has a lot of quartz crystal, it amplifies the energy and it transforms the energy from one form, electromagnetism, through the piezoelectrical effect to the ultrasound. Unfortunately, archaeologists, historians don't know that. And when they don't know something, they always use terms like religious, ceremonial sites.
Thank you very much. Even een stukje Nederlandse vertaling. Dus 5000 jaar geleden zijn die tunnels dichtgegooid, zegt dokter Sam. Peter vroeg van, ja, wat is er dan gebeurd 5000 jaar? En wat ik fascinerend vind in het antwoord is dat hij zegt, het materiaal waarmee de tunnels in Bosnië zijn, in Visoko zijn gedicht, de Ravne-tunnels, dat is eigenlijk hetzelfde soort materiaal als waarmee Göbekli Tepe in Turkije, moet ik het even goed zeggen, 10.500 jaar geleden is begraven. Bewust begraven, dat hele tempelcomplex. Dus het is mooi om vanavond daar wat verder op in te gaan. Maar ik wil eerst naar de datering van de piramide van de zon. Want we're talking about the tunnels, 5,000 years, but the pyramid of the sun is even older and was dated 29,400 years. And now, before we go into that, maybe we can show the video with the certificate that we saw when we were in Visoko.
Hier zie je een lijn lopen.
Dit is hem niet, Jan. Dit is hem niet, dit is een andere.
Even kijken. Je bedoelt deze.
Ja.
Nee, die andere nog. Die buiten. Die buiten bedoel ik. Ja,
deze.
Ja.
Okay.
Ja, die komt daar ook uit.
Found the fossilized leaf.
Dit is de zijkant van de piramide.
And sent to university for radiocarbon dating in Kiev in Ukraine. And this university sent to us the results, analyzed. Dating of this age of this leaf is 29,200 years old. That's proof because this leaf found under first layer of the block, and this leaf come here on the block on the day when pyramid is built. These people who built this pyramid put the 3 layer of the block. Wind come with this leaf, put it to the first layer, to the 3rd layer of the block. Then people put last layer on this leaf, and that leaf has been catched between two layers of the block.
Okay, so here we have a leaf between 2 layers of the pyramid of the sun, and this leaf was sent to a lab in Kiev, and 29 was dated 29,400 years old. Dus even het Nederlands, tussen twee lagen, het zijn 3 lagen van die piramide. Als je daar bent kun je dat ook heel duidelijk zien, die hoek. En tussen 2 lagen is een blaadje gevonden. Dat blaadje is gedateerd op 29.200 tot 400 jaar oud. And one of the questions that I had when I tell this to people is this the only dating of organic material in the pyramid, or is there more? Dr. Sam.
Like I said, 28 radiocarbon dating, and most of them are, over 25,000 years old. For example, when we were determining the age of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, this is the evolution. First, we invited people from the Institute for Pedology. Pedology determines the origin of soil. They took samples from the Sun and the Moon Pyramid in Bosnia, and they concluded that the soil was about 15,000 years old. If the soil above the structure is 15,000, obviously it means that the structure is much older. Then our Italian team of archaeologists back in 2010, they discovered organic material on the top of the concrete blocks. The age was 24,800 years. And what you just mentioned, and we saw it in the movie, between the first and the second layer of concrete blocks, 2 fossilized leaves were discovered. How did they get there? So obviously the builders were pouring the first layer of excellent quality concrete, the second layer, the third layer, the wind was blowing, bringing those leaves, and then they placed the final layer. So those leaves that are like in the sandwich, they are giving us precise age of the construction, which was 29,200 plus minus 400 years. So we talk about a calendar age of 33,600 years. In one of the tunnels, which we called Ravne 3 tunnels, we discovered a lot of stalactites on the ceiling and the stalagmites on the tunnel floor. So dropping the water from the stalactites, the stalagmites are being formed. The good thing about the stalagmites, you can determine the age. We discovered dozens of stalagmites. The biggest one that we cut and sent for the dating at the Institute for Geology of the Czech Academy of Sciences, the radiocarbon is 26,800 years. And the smaller one, which we use the uranium thorium analysis, 19,000 plus minus 1,000 years. But we have to know that it takes thousands of years for the surface to get ready for the stalagmites to grow. So a few thousand more, again, we are arriving to about 30,000 years. So yes, we have done many dating. And of course, this is for many people unbelievable age, because people have been programmed to think that human civilization, advanced ones, started as Sumerians 5,000-6,000 years back, and then Sumer, Babylon, Akkad, Assyria, Hittite, Egypt, India, and China. But what I think is that we simply live in the last cycle of humanity. Before this one, there was another one, which ended 12,000 years back, another one, 18,000, 34, 54, and 75,000 years back. So I think that the history of humanity is not linear, but cycle after cycle after cycle.
Thank you very much. And Ira, you bring people to the pyramids, to the tunnels. Why? What do you do with the people there?
So I organized retreats. I did it already 6 years ago from Holland. And then I decided I need to live in Bosnia. I don't know how, but I'm going to live here. I was on the Pyramid of the Sun, so the energy sparkling, and I think, okay, I'm going to live here. So 3 years ago, I came here, founded a company, built a house, bought a piece of land, and I started to do retreats. And I'm the largest provider on the Dutch and Belgian market for retreats in Bosnia, which all start here at the Bosnian pyramids. So I have weeks. It's normally a week, and in off season, I do also some 5 days retreats. Which only in Visoko. So we go every day to one pyramid. We go to the tunnels. We go to the excavation site. We go to the tumulus, and we top it off with either a waterfall or Sarajevo if the weather is bad. But as soon as it gets really crowded in May, for example, then I start at the pyramids for 3-4 days, and then I take people out of Visoko. So I bring them to other places because Bosnia is a very, very mythical land, very mysterious, with lots of ancient places. So lots of things to be discovered. Yeah.
And we are talking about very old tunnel systems, very ancient structures. And how do people experience that?
Great. I have not ever had one person that did not like it here. So of course the program I think is really good, but as soon as you enter in Visoko, you have noticed maybe you enter a world in a world. You know, it's like a different energy. People feel easily at home immediately, and it has nothing to do with past life, but it's because it's a special frequency here that makes them feel at ease. Besides that, the Bosnian people are very, very hospitable, so they are really, really good people. The country is beautiful, the nature is amazing, so they feel really, really good. So yeah. More and more Europeans want to live here. It's not that easy, but okay, yeah.
I understand. Thank you. And Janos, we were in the tunnels as well when we made the film. What did you experience in the tunnels and on top of the Pyramid of the Sun?
Yes, the Pyramid of the Sun was an amazing experience. I was very skeptical. You know, that's the reason we went there. I heard many people talking about it, and I didn't see right away a pyramid. So I really had doubts. But when we arrived there and we came on the Pyramid of the Sun, I was really shocked of the energy of what happened there. And we went both in the meditation on that pyramid, and suddenly we were in past lives. So really there is something going on, and not to talk about the tunnels, this was really amazing. Incredible. It was very a pity to leave. I would love to stay there much longer.
Yeah, I had the same. And for you, Marijn, the energy in the tunnels, were you able to, as a self-proclaimed non-expert, were you able to sense anything down there?
But it's very hard to say where comes that energy from, right? Maybe I'm tired. I was on attention. It was excited. It was an adventure. And in these periods, a human body is reacting differently as sitting at home in front of the office on a Zoom conversation, of course. So whether these energies were the pyramid or it was just a feeling or an emotion, an adventure, I don't know. I can't say. But it really felt. I can come close to the words of Janos that that there is something, right? And I was skeptical because I'm a documentary maker and we are skeptical. And I was skeptical on Dr. Sam. I think he's a good businessman. And he has very good selling points. But, you know, and that was my intention, not to break it, but to just feel what is he talking about? You know, it was a bit of a too big lie, right? So there must be something. And, you know, once you stand there, you are completely changing your mind because Sam is the most honest guy I know. And he's doing it very well and very smart. And I must say, my cameraman, he's very sensitive for these kind of energies. And he went crazy. Absolutely. He went crazy every step he made. And he was absolutely connecting his energy to the pyramids. So, and
Do you agree something changes when you are there? I mean, a lot of people have criticism on the pyramids, on Dr. Sam's work, etc. But something changes when you actually see and feel it.
Yeah, it is absolutely. And, you know, I think there is a certain, when I'm, okay, I will say that energy came from the pyramid. It was not my feeling of anxiety or adventures. What changed that my visit to Visoko was, okay, there are more guidings for humanity to survive, you know, because we're living in a very, very nasty world where it's a lot of hassle to survive because you think you're attached to politics. And then you feel a certain energy of people coming together and feeling stronger and stronger. Instead of that, you know, on the other side of the world, people are getting weaker and weaker because of politics. So you find a connection or energy where you receive hope for, you know, tomorrow. And I think that's what changed in myself, because as a filmmaker, I'm completely non-funded. I'm 100% fan-funded. So there are a lot of reasons to worried about my future. And after Physical, I must say I didn't have any doubt whatsoever, and just have the feeling, let's roll, man. And I think that's the energy we're talking about, you know, giving people the energy they need to survive in this world of, you know, it's a bit of a hassle, and just the hope for tomorrow. I guess that was my thing, and very nicely, Sam said, you know, the stone he discovered with this description on it, the gates are closed until, you know, something like until the gates are opened again. And I was having that feeling, maybe the gates are already unlocked and it's time to open them, and we are there to open them. Wow. You know, this is tomorrow, right? And we can do it, and we don't need politics whatsoever. So I think that was for me the biggest change in myself. Whether that came from the pyramid, I don't know. Maybe it was myself, but that was the activator.
Yeah, beautiful. And also what you say about we learn about the past, but we're actually learning about the future. Ira, you take people into the Ravne tunnels, and there are large ceramic stones there that also produce a lot of energy. What is your feeling on those stones? And we'll show some images of it in a few minutes. But what is your feeling and idea?
Yeah, they're on top of water sources, underground water sources, and then it emanates an energy that's felt on all of the tunnels. So you don't need exactly to be at one block. You know, the energy is all over the tunnels. But people, the guides, you know, they're very trained very well, and they do always an experiment with the people. So if they sense something, and one is more sensitive than the other, but they can all sense something there. And also in the tunnels, it's like to let go. The energy is like a perfect human resonance, so it's good to let go. And you will notice that you cannot think negatively in the tunnels. It's almost impossible. It's really strange, but yeah, they love it. My people love to go to the tunnels. They go every day. Yeah,
yeah, I understand that. Well, let's have a look into the tunnels again and have a look at the large, what do you call them, Charlotte? What do you call them? The large
ceramics. Yeah, they are called ceramic with a K, and they are K1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because they were tested. The material was tested, and it came back as this is, you know, artificially baked clay, which is actually quite an enigma because they are too large for the tunnels.
Yeah, they don't fit in.
No. They don't fit in, so they had to be excavated around to get some space to see them, and some of them are so large that we cannot excavate them because then there would be collapses. Still, they are there. So again, there is a question of something that probably, if we think normally, they would have been there before the whole conglomerate came, where the tunnels are part in a conglomerate stone. And some of those huge ceramics who have been analyzed and röntgened to contain certain larger crystals, probably a different type of stone is clear on the radiation image. They are a construction. Again, they are a specific construction that is probably very clearly related to the water streams underneath. You know, water is a dipole electrically, and water streams always have electricity running.
Yeah.
And so there is some of that electricity is somehow collected, maybe with the help of the ceramic material and the crystals inside, and amplified.
So let's have a look.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at them. Janos.
Hier zie je een lijn lopen waar dus het geheel in 2 delen is opgebouwd. En dit dekselgedeelte en dit gedeelte zijn, als we het georaderen, wel één geheel geworden, maar zit er hier een bepaald object in.
Zit iets
Als
in?
je als je dus een geoloog vraagt, wat lees je uit die georadar, dan zegt hij, daar zit een ander gesteente. Dit is een keramiek, een gebakken steen. En daarin zit een ander gesteente, waarschijnlijk een kristal.
Maar het is ook aangetoond dat dit gebakken steen is?
Ja, dit materiaal is onderzocht door 3 verschillende laboratoria die van elkaar niet wisten.
Yes. So, Dr. Sam, what are we looking at?
Now, there are several cultural layers. Since those blocks are artificially made, and we know that through 2 very advanced, sophisticated analyses. One is Röntgen diffraction analysis, and the other one is phased analysis done at the Institute for Atomic Physics in Zagreb, Croatia. So we know that they are made by intelligent hands. The biggest one that is open completely is called K2. It is 8 tons in mass. There are a few more, K1 and K3, 3.5 and 4 tons. Egg-shaped is about 400 kilos. The biggest one that we discovered so far, K5, is probably more than 100 tons. It tells us about the technology. Now, all these blocks are located above underground water flows, and in most cases, intersections of underground waters. So there are some type of the energy vortexes under the ground, and those blocks are placed exactly above them, meaning they probably receives and then emanates the energy. Because most of the people can feel tingling in their fingers, can feel some type of the energies. You know, when I studied the project, I never thought about the energies. You know, back in 2005 and 2006, I saw the shape of the pyramid. Then we started digging. We find the best quality concrete after the analysis at the Institute for Materials. Then 3 major pyramids, Sun, Moon, Dragon, they form equilateral triangle, and it was all normal. But once we started feeling those sensations, we started measuring different energy phenomena, and then we realized that pyramids are energy amplifiers, energy machines. So you see, I like to have you all on this journey. Everybody has a certain role. Me, you know, you said, discoverer, but, I'm just the conductor. I'm just receiving info, and people are coming, they are making their own conclusions. We started as the archaeological project. We've expanded to interdisciplinary scientific project, which is also very important. Number 3, we discovered the energy aspect. Number 4, the spiritual aspect. Number 5, the healing aspect, because every year we have hundreds of people with the healing testimonials. You cannot underestimate them. And then, like it was not enough, we purchased 100,000 square meters of muddy, neglected land, which we transformed into one of the most beautiful European parks, which has become the cultural oasis, the artistic oasis, the sport oasis, the true history oasis with the festivals and the concerts and the folklore and yoga and meditation and place of the spiritual peace and the harmony. And the entrance of the park is for free because it belongs to us. We don't want to charge people. The parking, wherever we build the parking, is for free. All our concerts are for free. What we want to do, we want to bring back the freedom to the people. We are born free. This is our divine, element. And so we want people to feel free. And that's why they love to come there. People from all over the world. And it's such a beautiful atmosphere. People when coming from the cities, from the concrete and bad electromagnetism, they come to our oasis of peace. They're so happy. And I would say, even though this is Bosnia, it is, a remote area, so many people vibrate with this project and they realize that it's not just the material world that we have. It's not just, running for the money and the profit and the big stuff, houses. There is much more in the life. There is the spiritual aspect and living in harmony with those two. It can give us back the balance. So that's why this place has become so important globally.
Wonderful, wonderful. And there are many aspects to it, the energy aspect, the spiritual aspect. And that at the same time, there's also a lot of resistance, of criticism on that. And Peter, I want to ask you, when we look at ancient civilizations, when we look at the pyramids of Bosnia, Gunung Padang, and other findings, it's as if we are not allowed to know what happened in the past. Why is this being covered up so much?
I wouldn't know. I have some suspicion about it. It's like we're not allowed to know our real history, but then again, and then you have to look at where we at which moment in time we are now, and what we see is something called artificial intelligence, and there's a lot of things, a lot of control apparatus coming towards us, and the people who are in charge on this planet now, they say that we are on the highest point of civilization ever. But when you see all these old pyramids and you see all the artifacts in the pyramids, in India, in Egypt, in everywhere in the world, then you ought to know that we're not on the top of civilization. There must have been older civilizations. It's like we're lost something, actually. And well, I think we have to find there's old technologies that we have to find back. But then again, it's also inner technology. I think it's technology that is connected with nature, and it's technology that is not only in the hands of a few that want to control us with their technology. It's a political standpoint I'm making.
Is the most important technology free energy?
Think so. If you see engineer Dr. Koen Vermeer once told me, if you see a UFO, then you know it's not going on diesel. So what he wants to say. So there must be something like other energy sources. Call it free energy. But then again, then the oil companies and all the other big companies, they don't get any money anymore. All wars would be ended because they're all about resources, actually. We don't have to build all these windmills and solar panels, and then we're getting a very, very different story. So I think there's a connection between not that they don't want us to know that there must have been old technologies and the way we're heading with our planet now. So I think we're on an interesting point, especially when you look at these. I think it's interesting that if you look at YouTube or some television channels, it looks like there's more and more pyramids being discovered all over the planet during the last 10 years. It's like, so what's going on? Something.
Many are discovered.
Yeah, many. Sam, you know, most pyramids are not in Europe or in Egypt, they are in China. But there's loads of them also in the south of America. There's everywhere, there's pyramids all over the planet. Yeah. And they're all
and they're found on the bottom of the ocean. They're found in the rainforests.
Yes.
Yeah. How many are there? How many pyramids are we aware of now? Dr. Sam, I think you know this by heart.
Well, my PhD is about the Mayan pyramids, and they are built in the countries of Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and Belize. More than 100,000. 97% of them still being covered by vegetation and forests. Only 3% have been uncovered. Now in China, in the central province of Shanxi, 250 of them, 20 biggest ones, 12,800 years old. 230 smaller ones built from the inferior material, mud brick. They are from 2,300 until 1,000 before present. Indonesia.
Always in the best condition. The first ones are the best ones, always. The later ones
and you are absolutely right, because the oldest are the biggest and the most superior everywhere. Yes. So everywhere. In China, the first one are sandstone and granite. Those that they came later, mud brick. In Egypt, the first one, limestone and granite. Those that they came later, again, mud brick. In Peru, we have them from adobe brick, more than 300. We have them, of course, in Brazil, in Amazon, at least 3, also in the forest. We have them in Colombia, we have them in Ecuador, even on the US soil, 120 Cahokia pyramids, they call them Cahokia mounds, completely covered by soil. So shortly, the world of the past was really the world of pyramids. It's a shame that they have not been investigated. Let's say on Canary Islands, 104 of them, most of them in Tenerife. When I was there, you can see beautiful four-sided stepped pyramid. And when I spoke to the people over there, the professors at the university in Tenerife, they told me the Spanish scientific community claimed that these are not pyramids, but just a pile of rocks. So much conspiracy. And the question, one of the questions was, why? Why they want to hide that from us? You know, if we go so deep in the past, we would realize that we are not the first advanced civilizations. And what our rulers, the mafia, the monsters that they call themselves elites, what they want to do, less we know, easier to manipulate and control.
Can I ask you a question, Sam? What do you think they have in common? Not the shape, I mean, but is there something
the
you
oldest
find?
pyramids that are energy machines, these are the common elements. One is the geometry. They are always four-sided pyramid. Number two, artificial construction material. Always energy potent, whether it is limestone, granite, sandstone, they all have quartz crystal, or volcanic stone, iron. In Bosnia, we have concrete, but also with a lot of quartz crystal. The next one is the orientation. In most cases, they are perfectly oriented to the cardinal points, east, west, north, south. Chinese, Peruvian, Indonesia, Cambodia. Now, in Egypt, the best orientation is the biggest pyramid, the Great Pyramid, with the error from the perfect cosmic north of 0 degrees and 3 minutes. Imagine 231 meters length, of the pyramid, and the error is 0 degrees and 3 minutes. It's a genius. Kefren, 0 degrees, 3 minutes. Mykerinos, 0 degrees, 18 minutes. then bent pyramid in Dakshur, 0 degrees, 12 minutes, and so on. The Bosnian pyramid of the sun has an error of 0 degrees, 0 minutes, and 12 seconds, the most precise in the world, and it has the length of the side of 660 meters. That's the largest one. It's 368 meters in height. So why is the orientation so important? Egyptologists, of course, they know that. They know about the numbers, but they don't know why. Independent researchers like Boal, John Anthony West, Graham Hancock, Robert Schoch, they know the facts, they don't know why. Well, in Bosnia, I'm sorry not to be modest, we know why. You have to have an engineering mind to understand that, like Tesla or other physicists and engineers. Everything is energy. Our planet is a huge energy ball. And the two strongest energy flows on the planet are north-south and east-west. You build four-sided pyramid, you perfectly orient it, it initiates the movement of the energy inside the pyramid. And guess what? On the path of this movement are located all three chambers in the Great Pyramid of Egypt, so-called kings, queens, and unfinished chambers. So if you are exposed to the pyramid energy, it improves your molecular structure. So that was a very important element. Another one, I mentioned quartz crystal. Another one, water flows. You see the major pyramids in Egypt, River Nile. In China, Mexico, in Bosnia, we have two major rivers and a lot of underground water flows. Why is that important? Water moves kinetic energy. The next element, volcanic lines. We notice that pyramids are always located on intersection of great number of volcanic lines. For example, the Cahokia pyramids, 12 volcanic lines, the pyramids in Chichen Itza, 26, Bosnia, 26, and so on. Then the ley lines, underground energy lines. We know that, for example, in England, the major megalithic sites like Stonehenge, Avebury stone circles, Glastonbury Tor, and so on, they are built above those energy lines. And in the Balkan region, Bosnia, Croatia, Serbia, majority of the ley lines intersects exactly in the town of Visoko where the pyramids were built. So element by element by element, always connected to the energy.
Wow, thank you.
Much, yes. Well, we had loads of questions and still questions coming in. It's like question, question, question. So many questions we've already answered in this conversation, but there's a couple of questions that I would like to ask viewers questions. Ira, maybe you know this. The pyramids in Egypt, they're aligned with Orion's belt. The pyramids in Bosnia, there's 6 of them. Are they aligned with, I know the answer, but I just want to ask a question to you. Are they aligned with the star system?
Yeah, with the Pleiades.
The Pleiades. So would it be possible, Dr. Sam talked about communication in the beginning, would it be possible the pyramids being a stargate in that perspective?
Yes, gladly. As I said, we'd like to measure everything you can measure, you can scientifically prove. We have 5 independent teams of engineers and physicists coming to the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun at 5 different times. We had teams from Serbia, Croatia, Italy, Germany, and Finland. They were using their scientific instruments like oscilloscope, spectrometer, EMF, and so on. And they have all measured at 5 different times using their own equipment. Energy beam is going through the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun with the 4.5 meter diameter. It's 28 kilohertz in frequency. It is electrical in nature. It is ultrasound in nature. This is what we can measure. Then we sent a drone above the top, and we noticed that this energy beam expands from 4.5 to 20 meters and coming back 4.5, 20, 4.5, 20. And then we measure the strength of the signal. On the ground, on the top of the pyramid, 1.9 volts. 5 meters higher, 3.8 volts. Another, 3 meters higher, we had double the value. Meaning the energy is getting stronger as it moves away from the pyramid. In science, this phenomenon is called the scalar waves. Our genius mind of Nikola Tesla was investigating this phenomenon 125 years back. In the last 50 years, Russian physicists, they've been investigating the phenomena, and their common conclusion, scalar waves move quicker than the speed of light. Therefore, they are ideal medium to transport the energy, to transport the information. Why is that important? Speed of light, almost 300,000 kilometers per second, is more than enough for our little planet, if we are planet. So, 40,000 kilometers around the planet, 300,000 speed of light, in 1 second, 7.5 times it goes around the planet. More than enough. But you send the speed of light to the sun, 8 minutes. You send it to the northern star, 700 years. You send it to the center of the galaxy, 30,000 years. You send it to the center of the universe, where one old guy with the white bird and the white robe is sitting, being very busy creating the worlds and the life and the star systems. It takes 5 billion years. If you are that old guy, the creator, you don't want to communicate with your children, with your comets, with your planets, with your stars, and the communication is taking 5 billion years. You want communication right now. And guess what? The scalar waves, they move instantly 100 million times quicker than the speed of light.
Wow.
So what does that mean? It means communication. And then we measure the orientation of this energy beam. We thought it's going to go like 90 degrees to the sky. No. In the morning, this energy beam is moved to the east. And that's exactly where the sun rises. Noontime, south. Noontime, the sun is above our head, south. Afternoon, southwest. Evening, west. In other words, this energy beam is following the path of our sun. Does it mean that our planet is communicating with our sun? Technically, it's possible. Using the sun as the gate to communicate with other solar systems, technically, I would say it is possible. So, what you have now, you have some type of the cosmic internet. And finally, the pyramids are not only the transmitters. They don't only emit the energy. They act as the antenna receiving the energy. So the energy goes 2 ways.
Thank you. Let me give a quick translation in Dutch. Wat ze gedaan hebben is die punt van die piramide. En Janos, wij stonden daar ook helemaal onder de indruk te zijn van de energie, weet ik nog. Maar die punt van die piramide, daar komt zeg maar scalaire golven komen eruit, om het maar zo even te noemen. En ze hebben met een drone gemeten de lucht en die golven die wijden uit, worden weer smaller. Maar hoe hoger, hoe sterker, hoe krachtiger. En wat ze ook ontdekt hebben, is dat die straal, zeg maar, van die golven het uit die punt meebeweegt met de zon. En hij zegt dus ook, ja, piramides zijn dus ook bedoeld als communicatiemateriaal. Want die scalaire golven, die gaan, ik weet niet precies meer hoeveel die zei, hoeveel keer sneller dan het licht? Wie heeft dat opgeslagen?
Veel sneller, maar hoeveel weet ik niet meer. Ik ben niet goed in cijfers.
How many times faster than light were those? 100 million years. 100 million.
Yes, it says 100 million times.
Yeah, 100 million times faster than light.
Basically, when signal is created on one end of the galaxy, it can be measured on the other one instantly.
Yeah, wonderful. Ja, en ze zijn dus ook niet alleen zenders, maar ook ontvangers. Dus piramides zijn niet alleen energiecentrales, maar ook nog communicatiecentrales.
Kun je je voorstellen dat het dan leuk is om bovenop zo'n piramide of ergens op een van die piramides of daar in die buurt een wereldvredesmeditatie te houden met een heel stel mensen.
Mooi.
En te denken, dit zit meteen op de kosmische radio.
Ja, je zendt het gelijk uit de wereld.
Ja, en dat is het idee. Het idee is dat daar is een goede plek om met het menselijke bewustzijn van het kan anders. We weten dat het anders kan. Sterker nog, het is al anders in ons. Er is vrede. Die is al in de hele wereld. Iedere graspriet, mus, rivier doet zijn ding in vrede. En mensen maken er een potje van. Maar mensen kunnen ook gewoon de vrede in zich opzoeken. En als je daar dus gaat zitten met een heel stel mensen. En je vertelt aan het universum. Ja, we zijn er wel klaar voor eigenlijk om wakker te worden. Dan komt dat bericht verder. Zowel rond de aarde als in het heelal. En volgens mij helpt dat. Dus daar heb ik lol in.
Mooi, ja, fijn. Jouw vredesmeditaties zijn ook een aanrader. En je kunt jou volgen via Facebook, hè? En daar geef je altijd aan als je weer iets onderneemt.
Ja, dan zet ik het publiek.
Ja.
Je kunt mij niet zomaar volgen via Facebook, maar Dr. Sam has a very, very apt and able manager of the Ravne Park. And she often posts the program. There's a lot of constructive things going on in the Ravne Park. And one of them is 21st of September, World Peace Day. That weekend, 21st of September.
Wonderful, wonderful. Nou, iedereen die zich aangetrokken voelt, ga er naartoe. Ik zie heel veel vragen die gaan over, als ik er naartoe wil, hoe doe ik dat dan? Waar moet ik dan langs, et cetera?
Heel kort antwoord. Gewoon doen alsof het net ergens anders is. Net als overal. Gewoon booking.com of whatever. Ja. Ze hebben wel 150 kamertjes in en hotelletjes en massa's is daar. Iedereen is blij als je komt.
Ja, en als je zegt, nou, ik wil graag georganiseerd, dan ga je met Ira. Want die geeft fantastische retreats, toch Ira?
Ja, het zit grotendeels al vol, maar eind van het seizoen lukt het nog. Ja,
ja mooi.
Er zijn meer mensen in Nederland.
Ik weet niet de
Afgebauma en anderen doen het.
Maar Univibes, Tim Douwsma gaat ook met Sam toch een...
Ja, er wordt. Sam, when are you going to? When is Tim Douwsma, our good friend from Univibes, going with you to the pyramids? Is this in September?
No, he's coming in June 20th, June 25th. You see, in the park we have so many events. We start with the first day of the spring. This year it will be March 21st, 22nd. We're going to have a couple of interesting events, the pavilion opening, then a big event for the kids. And then through the season, we have two festivals. One is for the summer solstice, our traditional festival, the concerts, the yoga, the seminars, the book promotion. This year we have some big caliber experts coming in June, like Michael Tellinger of South Africa, Klaus Dona of Austria, out-of-place artifacts, Valery Uvarov, pyramid builder from St. Petersburg, Russia. We have J.J. Hertak and Desiree Hertaks, double PhDs in ancient civilizations. They are coming in June. But then in July, we have our international tennis tournament for the women. We have some regional meetings and the conferences with the leaders of consciousness, independent YouTubers. In August, another festival. And what was just mentioned, when we complete the season, the first day of the fall, the weekend, 21st, 22nd September, International Day of Peace. And the last year, a few months back, we had such a beautiful happening for that particular day. We opened the pavilion dedicated to John Lennon and who else? So we had only two songs, singing several times. Imagine, which is very proper. Imagine the world, with no possessions, with no wars and so on. And then give peace the chance. And now we have probably 300-400 people standing there singing. But this is not a song. This is a mantra about the world peace. And, 400 of us from Belgium and Holland and Austria and Germany.
Norway.
And Slovenia and Norway and Swiss and Croatia and Serbia and we were like one. And this song, this vibration was going to the air, spreading around the planet. So we use every opportunity. It doesn't matter the day or the time, but so many nice things happening, and we are building it, all of us. It's not one man. One man, like I say, I'm just, conductor there, but everyone, and they feel this place as their own. And the beauty of everything is there is no government money. There is no government regulations. It's us, people.
Beautiful, the new earth. Zo, Marijn, wat zou jij tegen mensen willen zeggen of met mensen willen delen die denken, ja, ik ga daar naartoe?
Ja, ik zou zeggen, stap de auto in en start dat ding en rij naar het zuiden. I'm sorry. Just start your engine from the car and driving south, and you will find Sam standing in front of his pyramid and just visit it. This is just a thing of just doing, right? Whether you're not, because before I start to make this film, I didn't call myself spiritual or, you won't find me on a yoga mat. So I was very skeptical. What should I see in Bosnia? What blows my mind? But, once you're there, it has nothing to do with, it's so difficult to explain what I experienced as a non-spiritual guy. We are all spiritual beings, of course, but, not being so much. This is just an experience because we know Bosnia from the Bosnian War, right? So it has a very negative stigma on in between the country borders. But once you are in Bosnia, you feel like being in a paradise. And I didn't realize that it's not only the Bosnian pyramids but it's the whole region surrounding the pyramids. It's like a magical, mystical place, like it's being said before, and so I don't see. I think that's a crazy question because I don't see any reason to not go. I think that would be the the phrase I should.
That's a good one.
People who say, "Why should I go?" I said, "Find a reason why not to go." I think that's very hard to come up with.
Thank you very much. And I would encourage everyone who hasn't, and I cannot imagine you haven't, to watch the Pyramidal Codes 1 and 2. Very impressive work you're doing.
No, thank you so much.
Peter, in Dutch or in English, wat wil jij nog meegeven aan mensen die deze avond met ons meemaken?
Yeah, I can only I cannot add much to what has already been said. You can learn from something by reading books, but you can learn much more by experience, by being there. And that's also one thing I learned from some Mayan elders. Doing a ceremony or being at a sacred place can do much, much more than reading whatever book you want to read about some subject. So, yeah.
Yes, go there. Yeah. Thank you very much. Ira, wat wil jij nog delen?
Now, the Czechs, they were number one in Bosnia as visitors, not only at the pyramids, but all over, because Bosnia has many places to be visited. But the Dutch are, in the meantime, number 2. So it's crazy.
Everywhere. I lived in.
We have some karma with Bosnia.
Yeah, but not only Bosnia. I lived in the Qatar area for 5 years. There's only Dutch people coming there.
But what was I going to say? Bosnia is in the top 10 of most beautiful destinations. So I think that if the world stays quiet, then tourism will explode here this year, for sure. Yeah, and it's worth it. It deserves it.
Yeah, you don't regret moving there.
No, not one day. It was the best decision I could ever make. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Charlotte, wat wil jij nog delen?
My experience, I've been going to Bosnia twice a year, so, as often as I can, since 2013. And the funny thing is that whatever you are looking for, even if you don't know it, the connections come up. There's a lot of synchronicity. If you go to the Ravne tunnels, you have a fair chance to run into some person that you didn't know existed and was absolutely the one you needed to speak to, or they needed to speak to you. The community that goes in and out consists of people seeking relief of medical issues and people who are doing consciousness work from all directions, from all countries. And so it's always also in a human weaving point, meeting point that is actually very conducive to synchronicities and unsought finds. Ongezochte vondsten. We experience a few a day there. Just walking around.
Thank you. Janos.
Yeah, I would love to say the same as what Peter said. You know, we all want to know everything and we want to understand with our brain. I was the same. I went there because I was skeptical. I was thinking, what is going on? But you need to experience it. It's difficult to explain. You need to feel it. And so everyone who has the possibility, you need to visit once there and to experience it by yourself. It's really incredible.
Take a few days.
Thank you, Al.
And we were very lucky, Rob and I, that you were taking us there, Charlotte, around. So many nice stories.
You had an amazing guide.
Yes, that was really incredible. I never forget this trip.
No, me neither.
And we ended with a dinner on the moon pyramid. That was really amazing.
Yeah, well, that is one of the most peaceful places on this earth.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
The frequencies, the vibes on the moon pyramid, if you measure them, they are also 28,000 hertz. Actually, the scientists who were there last summer, they did the measurements. But while on the sun pyramid, that vibration comes through as very activating, on the moon pyramid, that vibration comes through as a real refiner, very, very fine. So that's always my favorite. It has been over the past 13 years to do peace ceremonies because the energy is already there. You just need to. Pyramid of Love as well is also
beautiful. And Dr. Sam, any last sharings?
Yes, we would really like to welcome anyone. They can come as volunteers. In the last 15 years, 3,950 of them from 64 countries and 6 continents. Through the organized groups, we heard some of the people who are bringing them, or simply individually. They come, they stop by for a day, for 3 days. It is like an open community. Some people come really for 2 hours. Some people stay for 2 months, or they keep coming back. So I would say it's a special place, and everybody does feel welcome. And I'm very proud of that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, well, thank you all for a very interesting and deepening evening.
And Robert, what are your last words?
Yeah, let me share that. Let me share that.
Famous last words.
I believe we are in the 5th cycle of Atlantis, going upwards again, going into a new time, a new era, a new Earth. And looking back to the past, we can discover what was already there when we were talking about free energy this evening. We were talking about healing. We were talking about communication, multidimensionality. So what was already there is still here and can be used now and in the future. And I believe that all those pyramids that we are finding are descended from have descended from Atlantis and similar societies. And now, when we have a pyramid, a group of pyramid in Bosnia you can go there whenever you want and you can discover, and they're newly found. I mean, this is 20 years, so the energy is still pure there. It's the same. Marijn, I follow you. Give me one good reason not to go there. I think that concludes our whole evening. Marijn, in pyramidal codes, he's talking to Dr. Sam. You can see a lot about the pyramids in Bosnia. Janos, Charlotte, and I created a sort of documentary, but to give you an idea about what it feels like, what it looks like, what the different aspects of it are. You can watch it for free online. We'll put the link in the chat, also on Facebook. Marijn, we can put your links if you send them to me there's so much information, and there's Ira for wonderful retreats, there's Charlotte for peace meditation, and I can recommend, if you want to read a real good book about the past, now, and the future, and what happened in the past 12,000 years. You renamed it, Peter, but it's 12,000 years, 12.000 jaar opgesloten in een piramide.
Opgesloten in een piramide, ja.
Je hebt hem hernaamd, hè? Opgesloten in een piramide.
Ja, nee, ik heb hem heruitgegeven bij een andere uitgever met een nieuwe cover. Maar de inhoud is ook hetzelfde gebleven, ja.
Dankjewel, mooi. So thank you all. I want to thank Daisy for managing all the questions. We will try to answer the questions that we didn't, most of them we answered, but the questions that we didn't answer, we will try to answer them on paper. But it might take a bit of time, and I hope we can do something like this again someday soon. Janos, what about you?
Yes, and we go to Turkey.
Yeah, we go to Göbekli Tepe soon.
So we make a new movie, and we have a new webinar soon. So we keep playing.
Yes.
And to share.
Yes, we'll continue. Thank you very much. Thank you all. And it's 9:30. 1.5 hours.
Wonderful.
There.
Wonderful.
Thank
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you for inviting and organizing it all.
Yeah, thank you.
And also the people behind you. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah,
Thanks.
the team, definitely. Tessa, Maria, thank you very much. See you all soon, and have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Doeg.
Yep.